We start here at noon with developing news. The search for a double murder suspect out of Washington who police believe also kidnapped a 1-year-old. Police activated an Amber Alert that many of us saw either late last night or when we woke up this morning. Since then, there's already been one confirmed sighting in Portland and another potential sighting in the Gorge. Thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Drew Carney. So this all started in the Tri-Cities area of eastern Washington. That's where police say Elias Huizar, you see him right there on your screen, took off with the 1-year-old and could be on his way to Mexico. A clerk at a Plaid Pantry on Hayden Island told police Huizar came in to buy a drink around 1 o'clock this morning and he saw the child in the back seat. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office also says they received reports of the suspect's car this morning near Benson State Park right off I-84, although they weren't able to find the car. So authorities at this point have identified 2 cars for people to look out for. The first is a silver 2009 Toyota Corolla with a Washington license plate CBZ 4745. They've also identified a black Nissan sedan with unknown plates. Police in the Tri-Cities will be holding a press conference today at 2 o'clock. We'll be streaming that online on our KGW app and on our KGW YouTube channel. Meanwhile, police in Hillsborough arrested and charged a man with kidnapping early this morning. The investigation began with this doorbell video that was recorded late Sunday night. It shows a woman desperately screaming for help before a man runs up behind her, grabs her, and carries her off to a truck before driving off. It happened at a Hillsborough home near Southeast 32nd and East Main Street. The woman who lives there says she didn't recognize either of the people in the video, but she immediately called 911. Hillsborough police say the man and woman in that video knew each other, but they haven't released their names yet. They also told us the woman in that video is now safe. During next month's Oregon primary, some local voters will decide whether it's worth raising their property taxes to pay for public services. One example of that is the Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue Replacement Levy that's up for vote. KGW's Alma McCarty brings us the details.
Always on standby, Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue now asking the public to stand by them.
And we want to be able to provide fast and effective response when people call 911.
To sustain that, Chief Cassandra Olvin explains they're seeking a 5-year operating levy, which, if approved by voters, would cost the average homeowner about $210 per year, or around $17.54 per month.
And you need a certain amount of firefighters to effectively fight fire and a certain amount of people to provide advanced life support during those critical medical emergencies.
The need detailed in a virtual town hall Monday night.
If our levy attempts fail and our current levy expires, we would have to make significant reductions in our workforce.
With no replacement levy, TVF&R leaders say they'll lose 92 staff members. But if passed, Tualatin Valley keeps those 92 responders and adds 36 more.
This provides us the ability to plan for the next decade and to maintain that reliable, effective emergency response that our community expects and deserves.
And you hit it right there. They deserve it. Right? And we want to be able to continue to provide that service.
Service spanning parts of 4 counties and 11 cities to the more than 500,000 who live in the district.
We do not take our community support for granted, and they have to face a lot of competing demands, but we're hopeful that the information that we're providing this evening and ongoing through all of our community interactions will be useful so people can make an informed decision.
We have one more thing to add to Alma's report there. The current TVF&R levy expires in June of 2025. So if this replacement levy passes next month, it would go into effect when the current one expires, not this June, but next. All right, we're going to take a quick break from all of our news headlines to check in with Mr. Rodney there in the Weather Center. So, Rod, what do you have happening behind you?
Yeah, show and tell. We had some noticeable mid to high level clouds earlier in the day, but as expected, that's moved out. Now, we could still see some high cloudiness, but for the time being, it is really gorgeous outside. It's our Cannon Beach live camera. The sea's an impressive show over the rocks, but the waves themselves are only about 3 to 4 feet, just that they're crashing over the rocks, which makes it look kind of cool out there. It's 64 degrees. The wind direction is west, but more than anything, it's fairly light, and that's why the coast is warming up nicely as well. There's a thermometer down in Lincoln City that's showing 70 degrees at this hour. Now here's down in Lincoln County. This is the camera in at Ottercrest, and this one's looking up to the north, and I thought that was kind of cool. It looks like some contrails mixed in up there, kind of an arc of some cloudiness in the sky. Blue Pacific waters, mainly just sunny and mostly clear over downtown Portland right now. Look at our temperature. Yesterday, the high was 63. We're at 68 right now. I've bumped today's high temperature up to 76 degrees for us, 69 still at 8 o'clock. We have one more mainly dry day. I said mainly dry, that's tomorrow. And then we're going to get into this big switch of much cooler weather and wet weather. And we'll detail the latest numbers on that coming up shortly. Drew?
Yeah, we'll check back in with you here, Rod, in about 10 minutes. The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments yesterday in a Southern Oregon case that could have major implications on how cities across the country deal with homelessness. This landmark case centers on the city of Grants Pass, which began fining people to keep them from sleeping and camping in public spaces. But a group of homeless people sued the city, calling its laws against homeless camping unconstitutional. One of the issues being argued is whether cities can punish people for sleeping outside if there's no available shelter space.
Where do we put them if every city, every village, every town lacks compassion and passes a law identical to this? Where are they supposed to sleep?
We usually think about whether state law, local law already achieves those purposes so that the federal courts aren't micromanaging homeless policy.
The Supreme Court is expected to make a decision on this case by the end of June.